Hi, Neil. You mentioned you're in support of society autonomy, which I think is great. I think excessive oversight and intervention is not helpful to students. I think students don't want that. In fact, students don't want to come out to all these seminars and very impractical things that you put together and spend our money on. Greg, I like the fact that you want to break down barriers and actually build bridges between faculties and societies. There are a lot of groups on campus that have been trying to do that and have found it actually quite difficult. But what I really liked about you, Greg, and you know we've had classes together, we've spoken, you and I are probably on opposite sides of the political spectrum. We don't agree on just about everything, but you raised DSU elitism, and you raised a lot of other issues which I particularly find a concern here. I noticed that Shannon was laughing at you while you were speaking a lot today, which I thought was entirely unprofessional, and just reflect above that systemic sort of arrogance that's been going on here. I think that it doesn't allow students, regardless of how radical people think that you are. Yes, I do.
Can you get to it, please?
Yeah, I will. I'm sorry if I upset you. But you know, students like yourself and like I who do have different opinions on campus shouldn't feel intimidated and shouldn't feel like we can't come up and speak about them. You may recall last year's AGM, you and I both had difficulty sharing our input. And I'm wondering to each of you, and I appreciate your tapping, Shannon, what would you do to combat this arrogance that's been around in the DSU for as long as I've been here?
Thanks. First up is Greg to answer.
Who?
Greg, you.
Basically, well, I was going to put it in my platform, but then I was told not to. But one of the ideas I had was, why don't we just get rid of the suffix president? Why don't we change it to servant? That's essentially what they are. They're civil servants. You know, they're elected, but once they're elected, that's their job. They're administrators. So, you know, maybe that's a slight, small way we can change things. Another way is I think we should get them all out of their offices. All their desks should be right downstairs. They should be right with the rank and file student. And, you know, not up in the council chambers. I think council meetings should be held right out in the open. Not in our expensive council chamber that we had built 50 years ago. Like, our system's so old and stagnant that it's creating the arrogance because we have an incumbency problem with certain individuals and certain groups within our union itself that basically bar other students from wanting to get involved or scare them because they're afraid of criticism. And we're all grown adults and they're scared of criticism from their own execs.
Next up is Chris.
Thanks for your question. I'd like to think that my personal leadership style is one of openness and inclusivity. I certainly don't ever try and make decisions on my own. I like to speak with others and get input because I think that, you know, everyone who is in this room is a student leader. A lot of you lead societies. A lot of you have been involved with the DSU. A lot of you might not lead a society or have been involved with the DSU, but there's other aspects in your life in which you take leadership. And I think that students all have very important insights and things to offer to the union. And so I hope that people will see that me as a person, I do want to talk to students and I do want to interact with them throughout the entire year next year. And I certainly don't hope to close myself off and give off an aura of arrogance or anything else that people might associate with you know, an office such as president of the student union. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I've been working hard for the past 3 years. For students, not for myself, not for any gain from it. I've been working hard for 3 years for students, and so this is what I'm bringing to this leadership position of president of the union. I've seen a lot of opportunities for things that we can improve and things that I think the union can do better, and that's why I'm here, because I want to improve things for students. Thank you.
Neil, go ahead.
I'm just looking forward to if Greg becomes our president this year, having the reality TV show of a glass box of the student council in the front office. And you know, and jokes aside, I kind of agree with him completely. I think that kind of integration, that kind of transparency, is absolutely essential. I mean, if you want to talk about something, you have to be able to walk it. You know, that's why some people might think that my office hours outside idea is a joke, but I'm quite serious. I will be holding them out there. And I mean, beyond that, I'm not arrogant. I have too many flaws to be that proud because of the fact that, and please, I mean, get to know me a little better and you'll see that there are many. So essentially, I mean, you walk the walk, you get to know people, you appreciate them for who they are, and I absolutely believe that if you want students to care, you have to care about students. And there's no amount of communication that can happen without caring that will ever replace that.
Greg, you have 30-second rebuttal.
How we get rid of this arrogance is by just simply being humans. It's like a friend of mine from my public economics class is sitting over there, and you know, he came out to support me, and I walk up to him, "How you doing? Thanks for coming out." Like, you know, I go to another associate or friend of mine. I sit down constantly. My girlfriend is witness to this, with just random students and ask them, like, "How's your day going? You know, what kind of issues do you face?" Because I'm one of these.
Chris, go ahead.
As I said before, I'd like to think I am human, and I will bring a certain humanity to this office. I'm really excited to be able to work with students to improve things on campus for everybody. That's why I'm here, and that's what I want to do next year.
And Neil?
Sorry, I thought I already had my rebuttal. Yeah, I don't think I really have much to add to that. It's about being real, it's about being true, it's about being open, and it's about not thinking that you've made the decisions before the conversation happens. I really think that, you know, a good leader can avoid arrogance by realizing that your power comes from the people that elect you, and that's not power that you hold on to, that's power that you reinvest in the students.
Perfect. Thank you for the question. Next up.